Welcome back to Diary of a Speed Reader. Today's book is Extraordinary Ordinary People by Condoleezza Rice, and I'm giving it 4 stars. Condoleezza Rice is such an achieved woman, oh my goodness, and this book is before she becomes Secretary of State and does all these other things that are worth knowing about and reading about. My goodness, whatever your politics may be, this is a woman that you want to study if you're just trying to figure out, how do I want to exude my influence in the world? How do I want to be as a leader? Boy, she's impressive. I'm going to give you 3 takeaways. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you, February is Black History Month, and while it's coming to an end, that doesn't mean that you can't take this time to try to find some books to add the diversity to your bookshelf. If you're struggling to find titles that you like, feel free to look at my list. These are all 4- and 5-star books that I would easily and happily recommend. Now, let's get into why this book was so interesting to me. Now, the first thing really has to do with taking advantage of the moment in history. And you got to give Condoleezza Rice's family huge props. They are extremely well educated. You know, her grandfather is creating schools and making sure books exist so that generations can go to college. Then her father is, going to college and getting his ability to be a professor during a period of time when that's not what Black people did. And then you've got Condoleezza, who is taking classes beyond her capabilities, or what you would have thought was her capabilities at all times. As you're reading her ridiculous list of accomplishments, you can't help but think, wow, that gap was so much narrower than it is now for anyone to succeed, and she just took it, and that just is so inspiring to me. The second thing is really hard work applied to knowing what you want. And there's a lot of different instances throughout the book where she's making some distinctive choices, like she wants to be a senior at high school. The downside of that is some of her teachers are really upset that most of her classes at this point are in college. You know, even earlier than that, they're waking up as a family early in the morning doing homework and trying to do what it takes to get to where they're trying to go. And then throughout the entire career, you're seeing her getting involved, being a part of things, and really amplifying what it means for her to be successful. Wow, singular focus. The last thing really has to do with this idea of respect and hard leadership. And I think this is really important for women because so many times they're like, no, you need to be soft, you need to be this, you need to be that, and everything is against each other. Condoleezza has all the respect in the world. I mean, the woman's leader, right? Secretary of State. But she doesn't always do the thing that is popular. And, it's interesting because I think she focuses on respect early on in the book. Her parents are saying, you may not be able to get people to like you as an African American here in the state of Alabama, but if you're educated enough and you work really hard, they'll at least respect you. Later, after she's accomplished all these things and becomes the provost of Stanford, a student steps up to her at a big assembly and is like, you don't understand the plight of minorities, that's why you just don't care enough. And she's like, excuse me? And just kind of tells him. And then they try to get the last word and she grabs the mic and is like, I'm the provost, I've earned the right to have the last word, thank you very much. While she fully accepts the criticism of being thought like negotiating with the students like they're, another country terrorizing the U.S., she accepts that there might have been different ways to do it. I think ultimately she comes to a great solution. But it's still really, really interesting to see it as a case study for how there can be a lot of variation in how women lead. Speed reading stats, this book was 334 pages. It took me 49 minutes to read it. If you'd like to learn more about speed reading, feel free to comment below. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and otherwise supporting this effort. I will see you guys tomorrow.